just went so quiet. Oh, what the was that?
Is someone getting right now? Oh my god, I think someone's actually getting.
Will! A group was making their way through a desert when they filmed this video. A huge sandstorm was rapidly closing in. Sandstorms are dangerous because they can limit visibility to almost nothing, making it hard to navigate and potentially causing harm or damaging vehicles with debris. Getting caught in one without being prepared can be life-threatening. The video doesn't give much more detail. Did they leave in time? Did they stay in the car? What happened next? After finding a mysterious hole in the Appalachian Mountains, they decided to check it out. They lowered a GoPro on a rope to see if it led to a cave, but what they saw was unexpected. As the camera descended, they could hear the sound of running water echoing from deep below, filling the air with both excitement and a bit of unease.
Dude, the mystery deepens. We hear water down there too. There's like a whole river down there or something. Sending it. Oh, it's going there.
As the camera kept descending into the darkness, it recorded an eerie journey. Then, something unsettling occurred. Footsteps echoed around the camera, followed by faint breathing near the microphone, hinting at something hidden in the depths. Not fully realizing what they had captured, the adventurous twins later shared the footage online. The mystery of the Appalachian hole remains unsolved, but they plan to return with better equipment, reminding us that some discoveries make you reconsider exploring the unknown. A person uploaded a video after finding something unusual in their rainwater barrel. The container, used solely for collecting rainwater, contained something small that appeared to be moving. It looked almost see-through, like a tiny jelly-like creature. The strangest part was that it had what seemed to be a tiny trunk or proboscis. Attempts to identify it yielded no answers, and no one could figure out what it might be. Could it be some form of AI? Cathedrals are places of peace, but when the lights go out, secrets are revealed. 10 years ago, a young man who recorded daily challenges decided to enter a cathedral at night. As he spoke to the camera, he felt a chilling sensation that someone was watching him from the darkness of one of the hallways. The young man senses something and cautiously approaches, but when he turns the corner, he finds nothing. Absolutely nothing. The hallway is completely closed off with no hiding spots. There's a legend that this cathedral is cursed. Do you think it was just an optical illusion, or did the young man encounter something supernatural? The look of fear on his face at the end of the video doesn't seem like an act. There's an old belief that it's not always the house that's haunted, but the person. This man moved to escape the paranormal activity in his home, yet just a month later, the strange events started happening once again. Objects fly around him, but he remains oddly calm. It seems he's so accustomed to the terror that he doesn't even react anymore. Without a doubt, this proves you can't escape what's attached to you. While hiking in the desert, a man stumbled upon something truly unusual, a snake with one body that split into two fully formed heads. Each head moved on its own, making the snake unpredictable and hard to control. This rare condition, known as bicephaly, happens when two embryos partially develop within a single body, similar to how conjoined twins form in humans. With two brains sending different signals, the snake faces the risk of tearing itself apart. This is the case of Raphael, a man who made the classic mistake of playing with a Ouija board inside his own house. He thought it was just a simple game, but 3 days later, the house seemed to come to life. One night, a noise woke him up. He grabbed his cell phone and started recording. Pay close attention to what happens at the bathroom doors and something else that unfolds.
Hey. 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 Let's see. Hey.
Who's there?
Hey.
Shortly after the door shuts on its own, a semi-transparent shadow moves into the kitchen. Raphael mentions that the object began moving just moments after, thanks to what many consider to be just a simple game. Meet the creator of the TikTok account, Trail and Flow, and his dog, Moose. His videos typically showcase daily life and Moose's playful antics. However, one quiet evening, their backyard moment became unsettling. In the video, Moose grows anxious, staring intently at the bushes as if aware of something lurking. Despite the yard being calm and silent, the owner later recalled it as one of the creepiest moments he's experienced, overwhelmed by an eerie sense of dread.
Good girl.
Moose kept growling in different directions, reacting to faint sounds from the surrounding woods as if sensing something beyond human perception. While wildlife noises are common, that night felt unusually tense and unsettling. Moose remained on high alert, suggesting that something or someone was nearby, hidden in the darkness. What was lurking in the bushes remains a mystery. Whether it was a wild animal or something more sinister, Moose's instincts helped keep his owner safe, proving how valuable a dog's senses can be when danger is near. This eerie video was filmed in a backyard in Danville, Virginia. When the homeowners reviewed the footage, they saw a very thin, human-like shape moving on all fours. It didn't move like an animal, nor did it appear fully human. No one could explain what it was. Was it a prank, or was something else happening? This camping encounter is from the YouTube channel Paranormal Discovery, where Lomar documents his outdoor adventures, including camping trips in remote, reportedly haunted forests and explorations of abandoned locations. On October 23, 2025, Lomar embarked on another solo journey, venturing deep into Freetown State Forest, a place infamous for stories of satanic rituals, unexplained disappearances, and strange phenomena. What began as a simple overnight camping trip gradually turned into a deeply unsettling experience in one of the most mysterious forests in the region.
I'm actually in the Freetown State Forest again, and instead of actually going to the Assonet Ledge, I'm actually going to be going to a completely different area. What the hell was that? Yo, something's being like thrown. Anyways, it's more of the people and the lunatics within the Bridgewater Triangle that I've actually encountered than the bears or the Bigfoots or the Pukwudgies and the cryptids. Like, the people are actually weird in these forests. So yeah, we're gonna take a drive. Yeah, my point exactly. I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm gonna get going.
As Lomar reached the entrance to the forest, he spotted two men nearby who seemed suspicious. Trying not to dwell on it, he continued, hoping he wouldn't encounter anyone dangerous. On a previous visit, he had been chased by a disturbed person, turning that trip into a frightening experience. He pushed the thought aside and made his way to his campsite, setting up his tent in the quiet woods. At first, everything seemed peaceful, but soon, the silence was broken.
If it rains, then we can be underneath it and the video can technically be on. Yeah, I've never... What? Hello?
A chilling sound echoed through the trees, resembling a strained, almost human-like weeping. The noise was close enough to send a cold shiver down his spine. He paused and listened as the eerie sound gradually faded into the darkness. Moments later, more strange, unexplained noises echoed through the woods, and the uneasy feeling around him intensified.
Thank you for listening. I'll throw something.
Guys, what the f is that? Whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, someone's down that path. Is someone getting right now? Oh my god, I think someone's actually getting. I'm like genuinely curious right now. I hope someone's not actually getting. That sounded like someone in help.
The weeping returned briefly, followed by loud knocking, as if someone were striking wood with force. It didn't sound like any animal Lomar knew. A low, painful moan echoed from the darkness, sounding male and filled with agony. For a moment, Lomar considered whether someone might need help, but the sounds quickly faded. Standing still, heart racing, he tried to make sense of it. The earlier message from his spirit talker came to mind, mentioning the name Desdemona, linked to death with an urgent warning. Lomar wondered if it was more than just random. Despite feeling uneasy, he tried to stay calm and continue setting up his camp.
I don't want to rush down there right now, just in case that's like a trap. But I will go and check that out. Like, if someone needs help, then I'm gonna go down there. Okay, there's hooting and whooping. Like, what if there's someone in need of help? They're just like luring me in. Who's down there? I just saw someone. Okay, that's a real person. Who's there? I'm armed. I'm carrying. Who are you? I'm armed and I'm not playing around. Whoa! 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 Oh!
While scanning the area where he had sensed a presence earlier, sudden agonizing screams erupted from the same direction. They sounded like clear human voices, mostly male, echoing just beyond the reach of his flashlight. Panic surged through him, and he ran back to his campsite. Deciding to leave the forest, he quickly retreated to his van, but the voices continued, echoing outside his tent. Lomar abandoned his plan to explore further, packed his gear, and left the forest behind. Late at night, Reddit user executive function 404 was startled by loud cries coming from the backyard. The sounds were unfamiliar and unsettling, prompting him to record them and share the clip online. The video quickly gained attention, with many viewers identifying the noise as coyotes. They explained that coyotes often make these sounds while traveling or feeding in groups, and it can sound strange to those who aren't familiar with them. However, what was unusual was that the user had never heard these sounds before, despite living in the area for many years. Two brothers, Will and Weston, had been spotting a strange man wandering near their home for several days. Determined to prove they weren't imagining things, they decided to catch him on camera. When the figure appeared again, they split up to start filming. Weston managed to capture a dark silhouette on video before quickly running off to find Will.
What was that? Will! Will!
Interestingly, the two didn't seem scared, more excited than anything. Maybe they had seen the man before and nothing bad had happened. It could have been a prank, but the footage gives off an unsettling feeling that someone is watching their house. They even captured another photo that seems to support their story. Let's just hope whoever it is stays in the woods and keeps their distance. He is Connor, a man living in a dangerous neighborhood where robberies are frequent. One night, while he was sleeping, a loud noise woke him up. Believing someone had broken into his house to rob him, Connor grabbed a camera and went downstairs, ready to confront the intruder. But what he found was far worse than a simple thief.
I'm going to call the police. No! 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 No!
Listen to his breathing. It's filled with real fear. Connor checks every corner of his house, but it seems empty until he reaches this point.
No! No!
An invisible, violent force hurls a knife directly at his body. Without a second thought, Connor runs away, completely terrified. He was searching for a thief, but instead, he encountered something that defies any earthly explanation. while walking through the backyard of their apartment complex. This person noticed something strange. Looking up, they saw a figure standing on top of a structure, watching from above. Instead of backing away or seeking safety, they decided to get a clearer look and record the sight. For a few seconds, the figure remained visible, then suddenly disappeared. The person was left standing alone with no sign of where the figure had gone. The video ends without revealing who or what was there. This unsettling footage was captured by an explorer visiting the Hisung-Su tunnels, a vast underground system built in 1938 as air raid shelters during World War II to protect civilians from German bombing raids. During the war, families would rush into these tunnels when the sirens went off, grabbing children, blankets, and whatever they could before the bombs started falling. The tunnels became places of fear, panic, and survival, where people huddled in the cold darkness, hearing distant explosions and wondering if they'd ever see their homes again. Many believe that places filled with so much terror never fully let go of it. So, when this explorer ventured deeper into the tunnel, something caught his attention.
Yo, what the is that? Hello? Hello? This is really weird because I've just literally come around the corner and, no joking, I think I might have seen like a silhouette.
As he moved forward, slowly scanning the narrow corridor ahead with his camera, he suddenly stopped just beyond the corner. A dark silhouette appeared deeper in the tunnel. At first, he tried to convince himself it was nothing. Maybe a trick of the light or his mind reacting to the oppressive atmosphere of the underground space. But even then, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was standing there, watching him from the darkness. Desiring a rational explanation, he cautiously moved closer to the spot where the figure had appeared.
I've got this weird feeling. I don't know. I'm obviously walking down there on my own. I'm just thinking of seeing that. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. Can't help myself. Turn around and check. Right, I can hear him. Yeah, it's gone this way. I've got all these other bunks and stuff here. Mate, I've just been down there, right? I've walked all the way down, and no joke, I thought I seen a silhouette, right? So I started panicking, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go any further. I was just like, I'm going to...
We were just talking about how eerie it is down here.
I couldn't even hear you.
I didn't tell anyone else before. When you two up ahead of me, I turned around with the camera because I swear to God I heard someone behind me. I turned around with the camera and was like, that's weird.
See, that's funny because when I walked this corner, I thought there was like a rat or something in that corner, and I looked twice.
Weird.
Just little light.
As he explored further, he met other explorers who mentioned hearing strange noises, noticing movement where no one should have been, and feeling watched in the darkness. Some believe the figure could have been another person hiding to scare visitors. However, this seems unlikely given how silent and isolated the tunnels are, and how quickly the silhouette vanished. Others think it could have been something darker, as places filled with fear and survival often have residual hauntings, replaying the emotional energy of the past. So, was it another explorer, or did he capture something that never left the tunnels? Late at night, on Ormond Beach, Florida, a home security camera captured something unusual. A glowing object moved smoothly across the camera's field of view, emitting a bright blue light. Its shape and movement didn't resemble a drone or balloon, and its height ruled out an airplane or helicopter. Strangely, the object appeared only once and was never seen again in the camera. No official explanation has been provided, and the footage remains unexplained. A security camera inside a supermarket in Krasnodar, Russia, captured something unusual back in 2013 during what should have been just another normal workday. But within moments, that ordinary shift turned into something far more unsettling.
Вот он по-приколу находит. Слушай, даже сумки, конечно, написано. Опа, полетела. Вжик. Полетела. Это не видно на меня, нет? Телефон.
In the video, a man is seen cleaning the store alone, unaware that the camera records a strange figure crawling across the floor. It disappears almost as quickly as it appears. Moments later, a dark silhouette appears in an area of the store that had been empty just seconds before. The Crater supermarket has long been surrounded by rumors, with some believing it was built on land where a tragic accident occurred, tying the shadow to a past death. After the video spread, shoppers reported strange experiences, including cold spots and the feeling of being watched. Some believe the crawling figure and the silhouette could be the same entity, while others think it's a residual haunting. Was this a camera glitch or something genuinely paranormal? Reddit user It's Ya Girl BW shared a photo online, claiming her aunt had found a bloody, fleshy object in their neighbor's yard. Initially, it was mistaken for a squashed insect. However, someone suggested it might be a human finger. She returned the next day, but the object was gone and no one saw it being removed. One possibility is that an animal carried it away. No further evidence was found and no official report was made. Should they have reported it anyway? Around 8:10 a.m., Reddit user No Librarian, 1954, was outside their house helping his younger brother get on the school bus when they noticed a strange figure across the street near a wooded area. At first, it seemed like a prank or a Halloween costume. However, on closer inspection, it appeared partially transparent. They contacted the police to check the area, and officers inspected the woods, but found nothing unusual. By the time they arrived, the figure was no longer visible. The sighting lasted only a short time and was never seen again. This video was sent just a few weeks ago. The sister of the administrator of an incident account was home alone. It was 11:30 at night when she went to the kitchen for a glass of water. When she returned to her bedroom, something was waiting for her. There were no drafts, no open windows. The shelf opened with deliberate force. As she walked by, she froze, searching for a logical explanation. Maybe a mouse, or an issue with the hinges. But there was nothing. The family claims that in that house, conversations are often heard in empty rooms. Could this have been a warning? What do you think? A man on Instagram shared footage that he claimed came from an old game camera mounted on a fence post near a farm outside Medicine Lodge, Kansas, recorded at 3:17 a.m. The camera captured two very tall, thin, humanoid figures moving along the edge of a field. Their limbs appeared narrow, their posture slightly hunched, and their movement smooth, similar to figures reported in the Fresno Nightcrawler cases. When the farmer reviewed the footage the next morning, he was shocked. He went outside to check and discovered a circular impression in the wheat where the figures had passed. The circle had clean edges and a spiral pattern, There were no footprints, scorch marks, or vehicle tracks. Paranormal investigators later reported a faint EMF spike at the site. Whether the story is true will never be known for sure, but imagine if it is. Deep in the southern deserts of Peru are the Nazca lines, huge figures etched into the earth by the ancient Nazca culture about 2,000 years ago. These enormous designs, showing animals, plants, and geometric shapes, are only fully visible from high above the ground, because from the surface they don't form complete pictures. The Nazca people had no way to see the full images from the air. Scholars have proposed a range of ideas about their purpose, from religious or ceremonial uses to possible astronomical alignments. Still, none of these theories fully explain why they are so large, so accurate, or how the people kept their design aligned across such great distances. Even today, both how the lines were made and why they were created remain a mystery. A group of guys was having a party in their backyard when they took this photo. Before the photo was taken, one of the men started feeling unwell, assuming it was stress, fatigue, or alcohol. After seeing the photo, the group noticed a dark shape behind him. Following that night, the man reported ongoing distress, including sleep paralysis, physical pain, emotional heaviness, and dark thoughts. He later shared the image online, asking for help. Many people responded, suggesting that something dark had attached itself to him and advised him to seek both spiritual and professional help. A person was visiting family when they walked over to a nearby farm to see some horses. While there, they recorded a clip. At first, it shows two horses calmly walking toward the camera, with nothing unusual happening. But after a few seconds, a third horse suddenly appears, seemingly out of nowhere. The background looks completely clear, with no apparent space for the horse to have come from. Some people suggest it's just a trick of perspective, while others believe it could be a video glitch or even a glitch in the Matrix. There's no clear answer or obvious edit. So, where did the third horse come from? The person who filmed it didn't notice the horse at the time and only saw it later when reviewing the footage at home. They still can't explain how it's possible. Meet Jaime, the creator of a YouTube channel focused on bikepacking and outdoor adventures. His videos usually feature serene landscapes, challenging trails, and the peaceful solitude of nature. However, one night, a simple overnight stop turned into a bizarre and unsettling experience. On February 22nd, 2025, Jaime shared a video of himself expecting a typical night in his van. After driving through Norfolk, he stopped at a backup spot off Ped's Way. It was raining and getting dark, and the location already had an eerie vibe. Despite feeling off, he decided to stay, planning to make tea and unwind, until the strange events started unfolding.
I don't know what the hell's going on tonight. I can hear all sorts of weird singing going on in those woods. I think I'm gonna cook my tea.
From the nearby woods, Jaime started hearing strange noises, high-pitched calls, and what sounded like eerie singing. It wasn't the wind or any animal he recognized. Intrigued, he locked his van and headed toward the trees to check it out, but almost immediately, he stopped, gripped by an overwhelming sense of unease.
I don't know whether this is a good idea, but perhaps I'll go over there with the light off. I've had a second thought. I don't know whether I really want to know what's going on in there. I think I'll go back to the van. It's bloody weird here, I tell you.
The atmosphere around him felt undeniably off, and the unsettling noises continued. He quickly reconsidered, deciding that discovering the source of the sounds wasn't worth the increasing discomfort. After setting up his bed inside the van, Jaime stepped outside for a quick break. That's when he noticed something new that sent a fresh wave of fear through him.
Just got out of the van to have a piss. What's that? There's a light in the bloody woods now.
It wasn't a reflection or a distant star. It was an actual light drifting through the trees. With no other vehicles or people around, Jaime reached his limit. He quickly returned to his van, stayed inside for the night, and left early the next morning without looking back. The singing and the moving light were never explained. Whether it was a prank or something stranger, the experience left Hamey deeply unsettled. In January 2024, 3 friends, Clayton McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington, gathered at a Northland as Kansas City, Missouri home to watch an NFL game together. 2 days after the game, on January 9th, McGeeney's fiancée found all 3 men dead in the backyard of that house. There were no obvious signs of violence or forced entry, and the deaths were initially unexplained. A forensic examination later determined that all 3 died from a combined toxicity of fentanyl and cocaine. After more than a year of investigation, authorities charged the host of the gathering, Jordan Willis, and another man, Ivory Carson, in March 2025 with involuntary manslaughter and delivery of controlled substances in connection with the deaths. Prosecutors allege Willis supplied cocaine and Carson supplied fentanyl to the group before the men ended up outside. Both men have pleaded not guilty and deny they knew their actions would lead to harm. Despite the charges and toxicology findings, many friends and family members still feel unanswered questions remain about what really happened that night. A Reddit user shared a photo taken by her friend during a visit to Grafton Ghost Town in Utah. It was pitch dark outside, so they used night mode to capture the image. She was sure she was completely alone. The area was quiet with no visible movement. However, when the photo was processed, a human-shaped figure appeared in the image. Night mode captures light over several seconds, meaning any movement during that time can be captured as a solid figure in the final photo. Still, the figure was visible long enough to be photographed and then vanished without a sound. Were they really alone? To this day, they have no explanation for the strange occurrence. This channel focuses on exploring abandoned mines and strange, forgotten places. The creator has a deep passion for uncovering the hidden history behind these locations and loves capturing it all on camera. In this episode, he's heading into the Walday Mine, an old, abandoned gold mine tucked away in Nevada County, California. However, this time, his video turns out to be more than just an exploration.
Let me get down here and turn off my lights. Okay, yeah, this is like a kind of a stope chamber going up, and the tunnel continues straight ahead. So let me put the light on here, the through night light, and I'm going to turn out my helmet lights. Yeah, it's very hard to be constantly filming while trying to walk through these tunnels, kind of stooped over and tripping on rocks. It's hard to hold the camera steady and the light steady, and they had to put big ones in here to hold up all of this rock. And you can see right here where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like what is that, wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? It stopped. Well, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes. But...
Without warning, the sound of whispering echoed through the mine. It started quietly, then became very clear, like voices hiding in the dark. There was no wind, and no one else was around. It couldn't be explained, but if you have any theories, feel free to drop them in the comments. A woman in Mexico shared images from her home security cameras after noticing the same figure appearing in her backyard multiple times. The footage shows a human-shaped figure resembling a woman in a white gown with long black hair. In most recordings, the figure remains still in the yard, typically in the backyard. One image captures the figure as faint and partially transparent. The woman ruled out lighting issues and camera malfunctions. Could it be just reflections, or are these repeated sightings of something not yet understood? In the deserts of Namibia, people began noticing strange, perfectly round patches in the ground where no grass would grow. Initially, they thought little of it, but the circles kept appearing, sometimes in areas where grass had been just days before. There were no footprints around them, and no signs that anything had disturbed the soil. The land inside the circles simply died and never recovered. Locals started wondering what could cause such precise and silent patterns. Some speculate that the circles might be the result of plants and soil competing for the limited water in the desert, possibly influenced by termites, gradually creating these eerie formations. Yet, the true cause remains a mystery. On March 11th, 2026, a video was uploaded to the YouTube channel Junkyard Fox Outdoor Adventures, known for documenting real stealth camping and urban survival experiences in unusual places. In this episode, the creator James attempts a risky camping encounter while stealth camping in an abandoned construction lot in Texas, United States.
And by the way, these things have been out here for years. I am completely ignorant. If I had to take a guess, I'm thinking infrastructure, maybe like something of a sewer system. They've been abandoned out here for years, so who knows? But I'm curious. So I'm not really liking this middle area where majority of these tunnels are congregated. It leaves a lot of nooks and crannies for surprises, and I don't like surprises. There are a couple of more of these tunnels off in the distance that they're just by themselves, so he just gives us a little bit more space, so let's go explore those instead.
James arrives at the abandoned lot during the day to find a spot to camp for the night. The area is filled with large concrete culverts, left over from a construction project years ago. The ground is uneven and scattered with debris. Some pipes are stacked together, creating narrow, dark spaces that are hard to see into. James has attempted stealth camping here before, but had to leave twice due to encounters with unstable people in the area. Because of this, he moves slowly and carefully while exploring.
Are a little bit more away from the main area, which the main area was just extremely filthy and disgusting. Prized, I don't want to bump into anyone, so this area gives me a little bit more privacy. There's also this rock wall right here and they're marginally cleaner. I'm not saying that they're pristine, but they're a little cleaner than the ones over there in the middle. But I am definitely liking this area a little bit more. So, yeah. Oh, and there's a gentleman right over there, and so I want to give him plenty of space. He gives me plenty of space, and we'll be just fine.
As James walks deeper into the lot, he avoids the central cluster of culvert pipes, which look dirty and full of hidden angles where someone could appear unexpectedly. Instead, he finds a few pipes sitting apart from the others near a rock wall, which seems slightly safer as it's harder for someone to approach from behind. While surveying the area, he notices a man standing in the distance, reminding him that he's not alone. After sunset, darkness settles over the lot. James prepares a quick meal, soaking dried mushrooms and shrimp before cooking a simple bowl of ramen. He eats quickly, keeping his light use to a minimum, as any light in such a quiet place could easily attract attention.
Someone's coming.
Yo, what's up?
Hello?
Thanks for the light.
What's up? You can stay right there. You can stay right there.
What's it? Okay.
Alright, just what's up, brother?
You have some
No, I don't have. I'm just staying here the night and that's it.
Alright. Appreciate it.
Alright, brother. Have a good night.
You too.
After finishing his meal and turning off the light, James hears something dragging across the ground, growing closer. A stranger appears in the dark, but after a brief exchange, walks away. Although there's no conflict, James realizes his location has been discovered and activates a thermal camera to check for any movement around him. Later, he heads to a nearby gas station for water and to clear his mind before returning.
There's no way I'm going to camp in there. I don't feel safe camping in any of these tunnels. However, this area does have some opportunities. So you see all these dirt mounds? I scouted a nice little nook right here, nice and tucked away. So if I just lay down right there and keep a low profile, I think I'll be all right. I don't have to get the world's best sleep. All I gotta do is just, yeah, be all right till sunrise. So yeah, that's gonna be home for the night.
Instead of sleeping inside the culvert pipe as planned, James hides in a narrow trench between piles of dirt and rock where he can keep an eye on the area in case anyone approaches. The night passes slowly, and around 1 in the morning, he eats a small snack. Later, he wraps himself in a blanket and poncho, sleeping lightly while listening for any sounds. By morning, he's only managed about 2 hours of rest, and his back is sore from the rough ground. After a quick drink and packing his gear, James leaves the site, relieved to have completed the challenge after several attempts. The owner of this footage claims his home security camera captured something unusual in his backyard. On the right side of the frame, a faint shape briefly appears. At first, it could easily be dismissed as a glitch, dust, or a trick of the light. What made the moment feel different was the timing. The clip was recorded on the birthday of the owner's late grandmother, which gave the image a deeper personal meaning. While many viewers may see it as nothing more than a technical artifact, the owner couldn't help but wonder if it was something else entirely, a small sign. While hiking through a remote desert stretch with his wife, a Reddit user came across an unexpected sight. An old, abandoned truck sitting alone among the rocks. It appeared to be a vintage Dodge, likely from the 1930s or 1940s, based on its serial number. They snapped a few photos, briefly discussed how it might have ended up there, and continued with their hike. At the time, everything felt normal. However, later, they realized something unsettling in one of the photos. A man was peeking out from behind a rock, watching them. They hadn't noticed anyone else around and were sure they were alone. This discovery raised several questions. If he was another hiker, why didn't he speak to them? Why hide and watch them instead of just passing by? Though they made it out of the desert safely, the feeling of unease lingered, and to this day, they still have no idea who the man was or what his intentions were. On March 12, 2026, Exploring with Angelo posted a video in which he and his friend, Frank, explore a snow-covered forest in northern Ontario, near a frozen lake and provincial park. Known for a mysterious disappearance that occurred nearly 20 years ago, they arrive late, with the sun setting, and set up camp near the trailhead. After checking their snowmobile, they finish setting up their inflatable air tent as their base for the night before venturing further into the forest the next day.
It's something else. It's very, very beautiful right now. There was somebody who owns the cabin. I think I saw it on the drone last time I was here. Yeah, what I might have to do, what might make the most sense, is just drive out onto the lake. Just see if we hear anything, or see anything, I guess. At least until my feet get frozen cold. My socks got a little wet, unfortunately, but I swear I just heard somebody. No, it wasn't that guy, because I saw him leave. Unless he came back. But I don't know. What the hell? It literally sounded like somebody said something. Hello? Man, if we decide to camp out here, we're going to have to do some serious digging. That is for sure, but we'll come through as early as we possibly can. What is that? Hello? It's going to be a little bit hard to walk in this. It's really deep.
Before night fully set in, Angelo ventured out alone to explore the surrounding forest. Riding his snowmobile along a narrow trail, he reached a large frozen lake surrounded by trees, where the silence was overwhelming. While standing on the lake, he suddenly heard a voice clearly say a word, which shocked him since no one else should have been nearby. The only path led to a distant cabin. Feeling uneasy, Angelo quickly left and returned to the campsite, unable to explain what he had heard, marking it as the first strange occurrence of the night.
What's going on with your face?
What's wrong with my face?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I am delighted for winter to end.
I know. I literally cannot
Minus the
wait.
Mosquitoes?
Yeah.
You could leave those out.
You know what? At this point, I will take the mosquitoes.
Fishing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The
hell?
That was metal. That was something.
Later that evening, as Angelo and Frank sit inside the tent talking, a loud noise suddenly echoes outside. It sounds like metal striking something hard, startling both of them.
I'm not ready.
You're not gonna Don't worry.
What was that?
I don't know. Well, it sounded like it came from over here, for sure.
It sounded like it was directly like behind you.
Yeah.
Hello? Great. Hiccups.
Those are always good.
Okay. Weird.
Not on your truck?
I don't think so.
I mean, it didn't sound like the truck, but...
No.
Those are your footprints? Whose footprints are those? They seem really out of place.
I want to say mine. I mean, I would say Lomar, but he's in Ireland, as far as I know. Unless he came back.
It must be beautiful there.
I don't know. Well, they must have been from a while ago, though.
I know, it's just weird where they're...
And then... This is going to be one of the biggest challenges we have ever undertaken on this channel in general. Our mission is to essentially relocate the camp, as you see it right now, down by the lake. Are you ready for the challenge tomorrow?
Like the Seven Dwarves.
Okay, so challenge is on. Yeah, Frank has not seen it yet. It's pretty bad.
For you to say that, I know it's bad.
It's bad. It's gonna be rough. But,
Huh?
Did it not just sound like somebody was walking out there?
Yep. That was almost clear as day.
Yeah. Hello? Hello? Who's from the area, like I said, who owns a cabin across the lake. He actually did tell us a story. About 20 years ago, there was a girl up the street at a provincial park who actually apparently went for a stroll and just went missing. And there was an extensive search done. Never found her. Never found her body.
Locals
nothing.
and police were searching,
Yeah.
according to what he said.
Just waiting to see if I hear anything else out there.
Angelo steps outside to check, but sees nothing unusual. As they continue looking around, they notice strange tracks in the snow near the campsite that don't clearly resemble human or animal prints. Soon after, they hear footsteps in the snow close to the tent, adding to the unsettling feeling. Then, a deep growling sound comes from just outside the tent. Angelo grabs a knife and rushes out, but whatever made the noise quickly moves away.
I don't know what the experience is on this part of the road, past the point that I just walked to now. It'd be so much easier. Stop on those areas and then see if anything comes about, I suppose. This is really weird, but like, just kind of like last night, I feel like there's something back there. It just went so quiet. What was that? Frank? Oh, crap. I'm sliding. Frank? Shit, gotta be careful here, there's a lot of ice. You okay?
Yo, something just freaking growled right outside the tent. Scared the shit.
Something growled outside the tent?
Yeah, like, I have a knife in my hand.
What side?
On this side, that's why I'm on this side. Like, right beside the tent. Like,
What the hell?
I might have startled it with the hoe.
Oh, maybe.
that was the whole intention. It's kind of, yeah, it sounded like it pranced off.
Okay. Maybe it was just an animal? Let me check the other side here. Man, it made me run. Whew.
After dinner, Angelo and Frank decide to walk along the dark trail to investigate the strange sounds in the woods. They bring flashlights and a spirit box, a device that scans radio frequencies and occasionally produces random words.
Okay.
You disturb me.
Oh, that's always nice.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened to you?
There is a shapeshifter.
Is that what's been happening here? Tomorrow we're gonna go deeper into the woods. Is that gonna be a problem? Well, maybe we'll just go there now. How about that?
Just
How do
stay
you like
quiet.
them apples?
It's almost like I dare you, you know?
Static.
I don't know what it is, but like this particular area, I don't know why.
You are trespassing.
What are you talking about?
Could have been somebody's land way
It could have been a long time ago.
Cyanide.
Natives.
Cyanide.
You're gonna poison us or something?
Isn't it funny what I said earlier?
What?
Remember the Hansel and Gretel and the grandma or the old lady gives them the pie and it...
That's kind of weird.
What the hell?
It's like they were listening.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think
I
it
don't
was
remember
that.
the details anymore.
I don't remember,
Hansel and
but
Gretel.
whatever pie it was, strawberry rhubarb is actually really good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
I could use that right about now.
Yeah. Why don't we ever get pie? Yes.
Why don't we ever get by? Because we don't think about it. Suffering? Is someone suffering?
Cyanide because they were suffering to end their suffering?
Maybe. Was someone... Oh.
Eliza.
That could be... That's weird. Earlier it said Elijah.
No, I can't.
Now it says Eliza. So, rumor has it, there's somebody who's been out here? Cyanide?
But yeah.
That is a poison.
Colton.
Yeah.
Colton. That's a new one. Is there somebody named Colton out here?
Be extremely quiet.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
Why do we need to be extremely quiet? I don't hear anything.
No.
Other than like distant
Traffic
and stuff.
Not sure. What the hell is that?
I don't know. I don't like something.
What the hell?
Be careful, the safety's off.
Yeah.
That. I might fire a warning shot, so you know.
Okay.
Stopped.
No clue what it was. Yeah. Definitely should.
See anything though?
Neither
like,
did
no
I.
Eyes, nothing.
I was even trying to look around with the camera zoomed in to see if anything, but no, I couldn't.
It legit sounded like it was getting closer.
That was loud.
Start making it really bad.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I never heard anything like that before.
No, that was messed up.
Like the fact that we didn't see anything?
Yeah.
What was it? An animal?
I mean, what else could it have been?
I don't know. Not an animal?
Logic tells me that it should have been an animal, but
That's what I'm thinking, but that was like... Sounds right.
not at all.
Must have been an animal.
Has to have been an animal.
I mean, it's clearly scared.
It scared the out of me.
Sorry.
Even though I knew it was coming.
Don't say you weren't warned.
The noise they hear sounds like heavy footsteps combined with a strange growl moving quickly through the forest. Angelo fires a warning shot to scare off whatever might be approaching. After the shot, the forest falls silent. They shine their flashlights into the darkness, but nothing appears. Shaken, the two men return to the tent, secure it, turn on the heater, and decide to stay inside until morning after a very strange night. Some viewers think the sounds were just wildlife moving through the forest, while others notice something unusual: no animal eyes reflected in the flashlight. So, what do you think was actually moving through those woods that night? Late one night, a security camera caught something strange on private property. The camera was positioned to face over a fence, capturing what seemed like a large shape moving across the frame. The figure made no noise and appeared tall, almost human, but something was off. It was crouching low to the ground, moving cautiously near the fence, almost as if trying to stay hidden. What exactly was it, and why was it so careful in its movement? This unsettling case recently went viral on Reddit. In 2022, a group of students was working on a school project on the floor of a new house, documenting their progress. One of them took a photo of some blocks with ideas written on them. Everything seemed normal at first, showing the knees and feet of one of the boys. However, next to his leg, 3 dark, thick fingers appeared with skin that looked lifeless. The middle finger was bent unnaturally. The person who took the photo confirmed that his friend was holding the phone with both hands, so those fingers couldn't belong to him. There was no one else in the room. Did that hand emerge from the floor? Or from another dimension? The texture of the skin resembled that of a corpse. No one knows what it was, but the boys never worked in that house again. On August 20th, 2022, a family in Daphne, Alabama was spending time in their backyard when something strange caught their attention in the sky. Hovering above them was an object that appeared solid and almost metallic. Feeling confused and unsettled, they started recording.
See this? Oh no, it's like...
They shared the footage online, hoping someone could identify what they had seen, but no clear explanation ever came. To this day, no one has been able to determine exactly what was hovering above that backyard. In June of 2025, a TikTok user, known for uploading normal videos of selfies and dances, suddenly uploaded this. Look at the furniture, drawers opening, chairs being dragged, but the climax is coming. Now, look closely at the wall. The poster is ripped off forcefully. The most unsettling part is the father's explanation. He insists that this entity is actually the user's deceased grandfather and claims to recognize his presence without a doubt. However, the son doesn't see anything familiar in this. Do deceased relatives act with such violence? Or is it something dark pretending to be someone loved to gain trust? The answer remains open. The temperature had been below freezing all day, and the uploader hadn't stepped outside, remaining completely alone with no visitors or knocks at the door. Then, something unsettling caught their attention. Fresh footprints appeared in the snow outside. The tracks circled the back entrance before leading to a remote area with no houses, roads, or anything of interest. No one in the house had been outside, so who could have left those footprints? And why would someone, or something, wander around the property in the cold, only to vanish into an empty stretch of land? A family was hiking through the Arizona desert, taking photos of the landscape along the way. At one point, one of them posed for a picture among the red rocks under a clear blue sky. The photo seemed perfect, and they continued their hike without giving it a second thought. Later, after returning home, they shared the photos with friends and family. That's when someone noticed something they had missed. Far in the background, partly obscured by rocks and bushes, there appeared to be something lying on the ground. The shape looked oddly human, possibly wearing a green shirt. Initially, they thought it was just poor lighting or an odd angle, but the more they looked, the more unsettling it became. That night, no one could sleep well. No further updates were ever given, and no news reports were found on the matter. For now, all they have left is the image and the hope that whatever was seen that day turned out to be nothing serious. On December 14th, 2025, a video was uploaded to the YouTube channel Love Sundays, known for stealth van camping and overnight trips across the EQK. In this episode, the creator arrives at a public car park next to a forest, but what starts as a quiet stop soon turns into an uneasy camping encounter. The video begins with the creator arriving at the car park, where the weather is poor. Heavy rain and strong winds are moving through the area, with a weather warning in effect. Before setting up his stealth van camp, he walks around the car park to assess the surroundings, which seem quiet. However, while walking along the boundary fence, he notices a warning sign attached to the barrier, which changes the mood of the area.
What the hell? No trespassing. Violators will be survivors will be again.
So I think we're going to go for a little wander around just this area. There's lots of little warps things. I'm sure the sign that says that I'll get if I trespass only stands for that area there. This is a public car park down here, so I don't really see any problems with that.
Rather than exploring the land behind the fence, he chooses to head back to the public parking area for a safer spot to camp in his van. By the time he gets back to the van, his clothes are already soaked from the rain, and strong winds are still sweeping through the open parking area. Given the weather, he opts to stay inside the van for the rest of the night.
It is really, really coming down out there now. Whilst I'm here, I don't need it on, but I'm just going to check the diesel heater just to see if this works. So I think the other day the problem was that I think I flooded it by sort of priming the lines. Be interesting to see if it works though. There's air coming out of it, it's just not warm yet, obviously. Yeah, I can hear the pump going. So that's where the air comes out. and it's still cold. Error message. Somebody said to me that maybe, because I haven't used it in, well, quite a long time, over 6 months, that maybe the diesel that's in the tank.
Inside the van, he tries to turn on the diesel heater to warm up, but it repeatedly fails to start and only blows cold air. Without heat, he prepares to sleep with several thick blankets. As darkness fully settles over the forest around the car park, he eats, cleans up, and sets up the bed inside the van. Around 9 p.m., while lying in the van, a sudden loud noise shatters the silence outside.
What was that? Sound like a machine. I mean, that sound could be something quite simple. It could have just been like rain trickling down onto the van, but it didn't sound like that. Or it could have been just like a car backfiring or something. Just heard it again. Guess we'll find out, won't we?
The noise repeats several times as he stays inside the van, listening carefully. Later, around 11 p.m., another strange moment happens during the camping encounter.
There's someone out there with a torch. They keep shining it at the van. I think they're going... What are they looking for? I mean, I'm not going to lie, that is a little bit freaky at whatever time it is. It's like 11 o'clock now or something. They must have shone the light right at the camera on top of the van, because I tend to sleep with my CCTV on so that I can just look at the screen if I need to. But I noticed it when I'm sort of drifting in and out of sleep. Oh, they're back again. Bottom corner this time. Maybe they're just taking their dog for a walk and they're just walking around the back and their torch is kind of reflected off the van. Right, I'm going to attempt to go back to sleep.
Someone appears to be moving outside the van, and a bright flashlight sweeps across the parking area, briefly shining directly at the van and its roof-mounted camera. Inside, he quietly watches the security camera monitor, trying to figure out what the person might be looking for, hoping it's just someone walking a dog nearby. The next morning, the rain had stopped, and the windows inside the van were fogged from the cold night. After hearing other vehicles arriving in the car park, he starts the engine and leaves the area. Several viewers suggested that the warning signs earlier may have influenced how the nighttime sounds were interpreted. This forest camping encounter remains unexplained. Late at night, a security camera recorded the backyard. At first, everything seemed normal, but then, out of nowhere, something quickly streaked across the frame. The movement was so fast and brief that it offered no clear details. The person who uploaded the footage couldn't tell what it was. Some think it might have been a fast-moving insect close to the lens, but others aren't convinced. With so little to go on, it's hard to say for sure what the camera caught that night. While hiking alone in the courthouse wash area of Arches National Park, a man stepped onto what seemed like solid ground, only for it to give way instantly. His legs sank deep into wet sand, tightening around him as he struggled. The more he moved, the worse it got, and soon he was completely trapped. As temperatures dropped and the sun set, the situation became dire. Spending the night exposed in the desert cold was not an option. He managed to activate his GPS satellite messenger and sent out an emergency SOS. Search and rescue teams responded quickly, using a drone to locate him in the vast landscape. However, as they dug to reach him, the sand kept collapsing back into the hole, making the rescue harder. After nearly 2 hours, they finally freed him. He was cold, exhausted, but unharmed. Park officials later issued a warning to hikers about the dangers of quicksand forming after moisture builds up in desert washes, and emphasized the importance of carrying emergency devices, as the ground beneath you might not always be as solid as it appears. At United Warehouse, his friend Joe, a total skeptic who used to make fun of ghosts, began hearing strange noises in his own basement. Initially, he thought it was just a raccoon, an ordinary animal, but when the noises didn't stop, Joe set up a camera to record what was happening.
I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in ghosts, and that includes me. So this video was taken about 4 years ago, and I'm not gonna say whose video this is, but trust me, this person is just like me. Like, we don't believe in Shi-Ti. He kept hearing weird noises happening in his basement. Didn't know why. Like at first, he thought it was like a raccoon in his basement. Making noises, must have been stuck in there or something. So one day, he decided to put the camera down there to see if he could see what's making the noise. So he ends up putting the camera downstairs, and this is what he catches, this video right here. This is bananas, and it's the most important evidence to culture, guys. I believe in history when it comes to actual footage. Okay, the box falls, it's nothing big, it's nothing serious. I don't know what's in that box and I don't know what it's on, but it falls. Okay, it's not a big deal, right? Not a big deal, and I understand it's not. It looks like there's a little tension going on. That box, look at that, you see how it's tilting? It just snapped into place like that. Watch, it gets worse. That box is shaped like a diamond. Now it's on the corner of the box holding itself. You tell me how a box moves like that? It's impossible to make a box move like that. That's bananas. Let's run it back and watch everything on the table now. Watch all this stuff. How many items just moved at once? 1, 2, 3, like 4 items on the table move at once. Do they all go in on themselves? Bro, they all kind of went in on themselves. They got like closer together. But the most important part, which I'm mad about because it cuts out at the last second, so this is what happens. My friend Joe hears this. He's hearing stuff happening downstairs. Okay, so he's like, let me go downstairs and grab the camera so I can see what it is. Right now, he's not thinking about ghosts, but assumes there's an animal in his basement, likely running around and trying to escape. Look, he's coming downstairs. He was telling me it was really weird, right? When he got down, like halfway down the stairs, he said he felt something. He felt really weird going downstairs. He was like, there's something wrong. So when he came downstairs to touch the camera. Now what you guys want to do is look at the table again. Did you see that everything flew off the table? It happened so fast. But you can see it. You can see like this is obviously not there anymore. It's not there anymore. It flew off the table. And he said he heard it. He heard a big crash behind him and ran for his life back upstairs. Like this is insane. Look, he's freaking out, but all my life, all his life, we're like, you know, we were close our whole lives. We never expected there to be ghosts. We were kids trying to find ghosts at one time and never found ghosts. But like, by the time we're in our 20s, bro, ghosts, like, you're a freaking loser if you think ghosts are real. And then this happens. Insane but crazy words.
Look at the box on the shelf. There's no wind or draft, yet it's moving on its own, tilting as if defying gravity. 3 objects slide toward the center simultaneously, as if something invisible is pulling them together. Joe, annoyed by the noises and thinking it was just a trapped animal, decides to go down himself. As soon as he reaches the middle of the stairs, he says he feels a cursed presence, something heavy in the air. He moves closer to the camera, and then everything on the table is violently thrown off. He runs for his life, despite claiming they don't believe in ghosts. After witnessing this, I ask, can a raccoon throw things with that much force? No one knows what's in that basement, but it's clear it doesn't want visitors. One evening in Tennessee, a man was standing in his front yard when something unusual caught his eye. High in the clouds, a blue light began to glow, pulsing repeatedly and staying in one area of the sky. At first, he thought it might be storm-related, but as he watched, the glow seemed to take on a saucer-like shape within the clouds. He tried to record it, but the footage wasn't clear enough to reveal any solid details. To this day, no official explanation has been given for what he saw that night. This image was taken in the middle of Egypt's Wadi al-Hitan desert, revealing something almost unbelievable, a whale skeleton lying exposed in the sand. The location, known as the Valley of the Whales, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It may seem strange at first, but these fossils tell a story that goes back over 41 million years. Before the land was covered in dunes, this area was once a shallow ocean. Over millions of years, tectonic shifts gradually raised the seabed above sea level. Sand and sediment covered the skeletons, preserving them for ages. Later, erosion cut through the rock, exposing the remains once again under the open desert sky. What seems impossible is really a testament to the immense changes the Earth has undergone over time. Unexpected footage comes from Allison Sharp, a US-based van life and travel creator, famous for documenting road trips, national parks, and surprising wildlife encounters. On June 18th, 2022, near Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, a typical drive unexpectedly turned into a memorable camping experience in the wild.
Literally just like shut down with all the signs saying road closed, road closed. You're not going to get through that thing. And the cool thing is when we drove up, we saw 2 bison just chilling as a bonus for driving all that way up there. And I did notice that somebody was in the guard booth, or I'm not sure what they call it. So I walked up just to find out a little bit more.
The travelers were heading toward the closed east entrance of Yellowstone after driving from Cody, Wyoming. Along the way, they spotted closure signs, barriers, and several vehicles parked along the roadside. Although access to the park was restricted, the scenery remained breathtaking. Tall, tree-covered mountains towered above the road, while fast-moving rivers flowed through the valley. As they continued driving slowly, more parked cars appeared ahead, hinting that something unusual might be going on. The sight of these vehicles built a sense of quiet anticipation as they approached the area. Staying cautious, they remained mindful of the common wildlife in the area, particularly bears.
Right before we got to the Yellowstone entrance, we noticed a few cars on the side of the road, so we looked ahead and we noticed something that was moving. And so I couldn't tell what it was at first, but it was a bear and a baby bear.
The family soon spots a mother bear with her cub near the roadside. They carefully pull over, readying their camera to capture the moment while maintaining a safe distance. "Oh, the little bear is standing up," they remark. Suddenly, the mother bear charges toward movement in the nearby brush. She catches her prey and begins feeding, with the cub staying close by. After witnessing the intense scene, the family continues their drive back toward Cody. Despite the Yellowstone entrance being closed that day, the unexpected sight of the bear and her cub in the wild becomes one of the most unforgettable moments of their trip. A mother was recording her twins playing in the living room to send her husband a cute, normal video until he replied with a question that sent a chill down her spine. "Who else is at home with you?"
Nothing good.
What's in the room? No.
No.
As the children laugh, a woman's voice can be heard, but it's not the mother's. The word is faint. The children quickly run off, and one of them even says there's a ghost. What's most unsettling is that the mother didn't hear anything at that moment, yet the children stopped and stared at the dark corner of the room. What did they see that wasn't captured on camera? One night, a man returned home late and saw someone walking toward his house. As soon as the exterior lights turned on, the figure quickly turned around, placed something back in the trunk of a car, and drove off. Disturbed by the encounter, the homeowner decided to install multiple security cameras around the property, hoping that would be the end of it. However, weeks later, another alert came in around 12:30 a.m. This time, the cameras captured someone near the back door, slowly scanning the property. The person seemed to react as though they'd heard something, and, moments later, turned and walked away into the darkness. The homeowner had no idea what the person was looking for or why they were there. The lingering question remained, was this the same person from weeks earlier? In this unsettling home security footage, a dark shape begins to form near a mailbox at the edge of the driveway. At first, some viewers thought it might just be a teenager messing around, but on closer inspection, something feels off. A non-human face seems to materialize within the darkness, staring directly at the camera. The figure never fully steps into the light. No one knows who or what was standing there that night, and without a reliable source, it's hard to determine if the footage is even real. In September 2025, a group of friends rented an Airbnb and were having a great time, but then they noticed something strange in a room that should have been empty. The door was locked, yet there was light inside. One of the girls decided to slide her phone under the door to see what was going on.
Please, no. Oh, no, look.
Inside the room, standing completely still, was a human figure. At first glance, it looked like it could be a statue or a mannequin, but its posture was tense and unnatural. The clip quickly went viral online. Many people claimed it wasn't just a dummy, but a real person holding their breath, waiting for the group to fall asleep so they could emerge. Can you imagine seeing this on your phone, knowing that figure is just a few meters away, separated only by a simple wooden door? On March 29, 2025, a group of urban explorers enters the Selma Mansion, a place where the air feels thick and it's hard to breathe. On the third floor, where rumors say the former owners never left, they heard footsteps in empty hallways, the sensation of something brushing the back of their necks. Is it just an old building, or are there real presences? The explorers insist that something drove them out that night. A Reddit user posted eerie security footage from 2020 showing something moving across a neighbor's yard around 2:30 a.m. Initially, it seemed like a person, but the figure was massive, easily towering over the 10-foot-high camera. It moved slowly, almost unnaturally, emerging from a thick forest that locals steer clear of because of wildlife like coyotes and bears. Neighbors argue that no one from the area would be outside at that time, leaving the mystery of what was roaming the yard that night. In May 2025, what was supposed to be a normal camping weekend turned into a heartbreaking tragedy for two Arizona teens. Pandora Kjolsrud, 18, and Evan Clark, 17, both from Arcadia High School in Phoenix, left on May 25th for a day trip into the Tonto National Forest's Mount Ord area, but never returned. Their bodies were found on May 27th in a remote part of the forest, and authorities quickly ruled their deaths homicides after determining both had been shot. Investigators worked to piece together the teens' final days, and months later, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of Thomas Brown, 31, charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder after DNA evidence allegedly linked him to the victims, their vehicle, and bloody items at the scene. He is being held on a $2 million bond as the case moves forward. What began as a routine outdoor adventure ended in a devastating loss for the community and families, with ongoing legal proceedings and continued efforts for answers. Reddit user Zyfast and Loud1 posted footage that their mom had recorded on the backyard camera at 8:52 p.m. The backyard is fully fenced, and since it was the middle of January, it's unlikely anyone was running around. The wind appeared minimal at the time, but the way the shadow interacted with the light was unsettling. Watching the clip, it almost seems like a person is running, though possibly in reverse. There's honestly no clear explanation for it. An urban explorer who entered an abandoned mental hospital returned home 5 days later, only to realize something had followed him back. The man disappeared in 2023, and no one has seen him since, but he left this behind.
If you hear me. Knock if you hear me. Knock if you hear me. Knock if you hear me.
At first, it's hard to notice, but when the brightness is increased, a completely black human head can be seen watching him from the doorway, and things only get worse. 2 weeks later, he posted his last video before disappearing. In it, he's begging for help, saying the activity had gone too far. Listen to the terror in his voice. "Knock if you hear me, knock if you hear me. This is my house. Leave." Those were his last public words. Was the mental hospital the cause of his disappearance? Or is there something else, something darker behind it? Leave your theory in the comments. A man was standing in his backyard when he noticed something odd in the sky. A bird seemed to be hovering in place, not moving at all. At first, it looked strange, like the bird was frozen. However, there's an easy explanation. Birds of prey, like hawks and eagles, use rising air currents called thermals to stay in the air with little effort. They position themselves in these updrafts to conserve energy while keeping an eye out for potential prey on the ground below. On November 1st, 2025, a video appeared on the YouTube channel Roaming Reckless, known for documenting real truck camping and off-road travel in remote environments. What begins as a normal truck camping trip soon turns into a tense encounter due to dangerous desert conditions. Rhea is camping on BLM desert land in Colorado, where the weather had been clear for several days and the dry landscape seemed safe for desert camping. However, after a sudden rainstorm, the conditions quickly change. The desert ground turns into thick gumbo clay, which becomes extremely slippery and makes driving very difficult. Instead of trying to leave right away, Rhea decides to stay and wait for the ground to dry. She spends 3 days camping in the same spot, hoping the trail will become safe enough to drive out. On the final night of her stay, the situation changes unexpectedly.
I just got woken up by a severe weather alert that says there's severe thunderstorms coming in with wind gusts. Basically, it's really bad for us to be up in the Allo cab if we have like super strong wind coming, and there's a lot of big hail and severe thunderstorms. So I'm just gonna try to get out of here, even though it's the middle of the night. It says possible threat to life or property. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Hail damage possible. Take action within the next hour. Come here, Mama. I know, you're so confused. I get it. Come here, Mama. Come on. Time is of the essence, lady. Oh, the rain's already started. Great. And here comes the wind. Okay. I need to get out of here before the rain hits, because you guys know that mud is like the whole reason we had to wait out the rain for a few days anyways. It's just the hail that's really freaking me out. But it's really just that freaking hail I do not want to get caught in. And we're out in the desert where there's no protection. Lightning.
In the middle of the night, Rhea's phone goes off with an emergency weather alert, warning of a potentially life-threatening storm. It's nearly 2 a.m., and the desert is pitch black with no shelter in sight. She quickly wakes her dog, Tazzy, and, with lightning flashing in the distance, she packs up the rooftop tent and starts driving through the dark, hoping to outrun the storm.
We're literally stuck in this freaking gumbo. I'm not even joking. See that? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm sliding, and that's my issue. Yeah, I just keep sliding, which is great. There's nothing to winch off. Oh, there's no way!
As Rhea drives along the muddy trail, the truck begins to slide. The tires lose grip on the wet gumbo clay, and within moments, the vehicle sinks into a muddy section of the road. The truck is completely stuck, with little she can do during the storm. Rhea stays inside the truck with Tazzy, while thunder rumbles overhead. By morning, the storm has passed, but the truck is still caught in deep, muddy ruts. Determined to get out, Rhea starts gathering branches and desert brush from the area.
First order of business when it comes to those ruts, I need to get rid of all of the soft ground and replace it with traction. Since I don't have max tracks on me, what I do have is all of these little brush bushes in the desert. So I'm gonna go around, collect a bunch, pack it in front of all the tires with a trail out. All right, guys, I think we're about ready to roll. Got everything set up here. I'm gonna straighten my wheels out, and then the plan is just to follow the brush. Completely trying to bypass that puddle right there and all of the muck that's on the other side. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah! See? Told you guys we weren't even really stuck that bad. So, we got a little bit of like soft stuff coming up, but in theory, I think we should be able to get through the rest of this pretty easy. Oh, I forgot I have my diff locks on. Impossible to steer. Are you kidding? Alright, oh, there is more puddles and stuff, so let me... Come on, troop! Are we kidding? Ain't no frickin' thing. It's supposed to rain early tomorrow, so we just did not have time to waste because otherwise we're gonna be stuck back here for like a week. Oh, heck yeah! We made it back to the main road. Okay. We're out of four-wheel drive, auto four-wheel drive. Unlocked the hubs, now we just need to air back up. We're gonna go up to 32 PSI for right now, and we will redo everything tomorrow. We just need to get out of here.
She lowers the tire pressure to increase surface contact with the ground and, slowly and carefully, starts moving forward. After several tense moments, the truck finally climbs out of the mud and reaches firmer ground. Later that night, while continuing her journey through the desert, she faces another obstacle.
3 hours later in the middle of the night, and I just came across like a really bad washout. It's like we're at the top of a hill right now, and then the whole road was washed out, and it's all mucky and clay down there, and I just spent hours laying brush down the 2-track. I'm gonna try to freaking air down and get through this, because it rains again tomorrow, so I can't afford to wait around and then be stuck in more rain. It's just gonna get worse. Okay, I'm gonna go down to 12. This makes me so sad because I spent so much time filling up. It took like over an hour to fill up the tires. Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you guys how freaking stressful that was. That was almost a 3.5-hour ordeal just to make sure I didn't get stuck.
A section of the road ahead has washed out, turning into another deep, muddy gap. Despite being exhausted, Rhea lowers the tire pressure again and carefully drives across the mud. Eventually, she reaches safer ground and prepares to rest after a long and stressful night of desert truck camping. Several viewers pointed out that gumbo clay and desert regions can quickly trap vehicles, and severe hailstorms in Colorado can become dangerous fast in open desert environments. If the hailstorm had hit while the truck was still stuck, the situation could have become much more perilous. The niece of a Reddit user shared some disturbing footage from her backyard security camera, recorded around 1:51 a.m. The clip lasts only 3 seconds, but reveals something unsettling. A dark shape suddenly slams into a window with enough force to shift the curtain, indicating the impact was significant. It could have been an animal or a bird hitting the glass, but the poor quality of the footage and the quickness of the event make it hard to identify what exactly struck the window. The camera recorded no further movement. A hiker, going by the name Sensei of Sensei on Reddit, posted a video after spotting something odd while hiking in Virginia. The clip shows a rock painting, a simple figure that many viewers humorously compared to an alien with a small body and a large head. However, one commenter pointed out that it resembled ancient rock art found at the Paint Lick Mountain Pictograph site in Tazewell County, Virginia. This site, where Native Americans once used red pigment to create symbolic representations of people, animals, and abstract shapes, holds these rare pictographs. Although the true meaning of the painting remains unknown, some people have speculated that the artwork could depict aliens. A woman was walking home along her usual route when she noticed something moving in the attic window of a house. She stopped, pulled out her phone, and zoomed in several times to get a better look.
That pointy part looks like Rapunzel.
The footage revealed a figure that looked human-like, positioned behind the attic window and facing outward. It didn't resemble anyone who lived in the house, as the property was home to an elderly couple. The figure also didn't appear as clearly as a typical person. She shared the video with her neighbors, many of whom mentioned that the house had long been rumored to be haunted, with strange occurrences suspected for years. Could she have captured a ghost on camera? A man captures a strange flash in his living room at 9 o'clock at night. When reviewing the recording frame by frame, he discovers the reason.
The camera, the infrared goes on and off. Look at that, but you'll see in a moment the light looks really weird. Look there. I'm going to show you right now. It's what you see there is a sphere. I was just looking at it. It's a sphere. But I'm going to show you right now who is holding that sphere in their hand. Look and see how it disappears. Look at what I'm going to show you. We're going to run it manually. Look at what's there. Look at this thing right here. It's an eye. And here's the other eye. Look, one eye and the other eye. Look at that.
A sphere of light appears, seeming like a technical glitch. But when we freeze the image, we see it's not just a spot. They are two eyes, deep black eyes, holding the sphere of light. For a split second, a figure materializes, looks at us, and disappears in a flash. The homeowner has no idea what it could be, but now he knows he's never truly alone in his living room. While spending a quiet weekend at their cabin in the woods, a couple noticed something strange captured by their security camera near the front entrance. The footage shows a cluster of small, bright lights moving slowly and steadily toward the doorway. There are no people or animals in the frame, and no visible sources that could explain the movement. As the lights reach the entrance, the recording ends. No further activity was detected that night, and the homeowners still have no explanation for what the camera recorded. What do you think it could be? Deep in the South Las Vegas desert, a truly eerie discovery was made. In the middle of the barren landscape stood an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, all alone. The area is sparsely populated, occasionally used for shooting practice. The animatronic, damaged and worn by the elements, clearly seemed to have been there for quite a while. While there are no confirmed details explaining how or why it ended up in that desolate spot, it undeniably gives off a creepy vibe. This is quite a dense case. Abington, Massachusetts, is a place so full of negative energy that its owner, Steve Payne, organizes tours for the bravest. The Soul Seekers channel went in to investigate, and what they recorded is some of the clearest and most terrifying evidence.
Weeks ago, I recorded a podcast while sitting in the chair.
Wow.
That's a robbery.
It begins with a device called a repod, which detects energy. When the owner mentions Dorothy, a supposed ghost, the device reacts wildly. But that's only the start. In one of the upstairs rooms, a static camera captured this.
We wanted to talk to you, but you didn't seem to be as available as we would have liked.
A white, bright orb appears, moving with its own intelligence. It's neither dust nor an insect, but pure energy. The tension begins to rise, and they use a spirit box to communicate. A guttural voice then responds, "The bad man is here."
I think he remembers.
The bad man is here.
I think he remembers.
Look at how I have it all over my face.
It's like I have inches all over, like my face, everywhere, all over.
Steve, the owner, had cautioned them about an aggressive male entity that resides upstairs, and it seems they had just come across it.
So, Matt, to your side, to your left, that wall, it's getting dramatically darker, which means it's getting dramatically colder on your side. I'm not sure if you feel anything to your left.
I don't, but that's where all the oracle boards are.
Ah, really?
They're using a thermal camera focused on Matt when the wall to his left starts changing color, turning dark blue. This indicates a sharp drop in temperature. Something icy is materializing right next to him. Although Matt doesn't notice it, the camera clearly picks it up.
To the left of Matt, where the picture on the wall is. It was directly to the left of Matt.
Right here?
Yes, you didn't move that wall over there.
Wow.
What's wrong?
I have a hand coming up from the bedroom where Corey is.
Look at the door frame. It's a hand, cold to the touch with no body heat, appearing as if it's trying to grab Matt. There was no one else around, and the hand had no human warmth. As if that wasn't enough, a black shadow appears behind the camera, moving down the wall at an unnatural speed. Cold hands, threatening voices, and fast-moving shadows. The Soul Seekers team admitted it was one of the most terrifying nights they've ever had. This home security footage was recorded near a residential property in Long Island late at night. The camera captured something unusual wandering near the property. At first glance, the shape appears humanoid, but it doesn't clearly resemble a person. The head looks large and elongated, and the eyes seem dark and oversized. The object it's carrying appears small and faintly glowing, though the low light makes details hard to verify. Some viewers speculate the footage shows an alien figure carrying a baby, but there are no reports of a missing child tied to the video, and no official statements support that idea. Others think it could be a person in a costume, or possibly a digitally altered video. Without a confirmed source, verified context, or official investigation, the origin and authenticity of the footage remain uncertain. In 2011, a young couple, Sarah and Andrew, set off for what was meant to be a simple 3-day camping trip in the remote Utah desert. They packed light but planned carefully, bringing along maps, water, basic gear, and an old SUV to carry them into the quiet backcountry. But when the 3 days passed and they didn't return, concern quickly turned into alarm. Their family reported them missing, and search efforts were launched immediately. Not long after, their vehicle was found, abandoned on a sand-blasted desert road. The doors were unlocked, the keys were still inside, and there were no footprints or scattered supplies to indicate which direction they had gone. Search teams scoured the area, but found no sign of Sarah or Andrew. Years passed without answers, until 2019, when a group exploring an old mine near the area made a chilling discovery. Inside a narrow shaft, blocked by fallen rocks from the inside, they found human remains near a wall. How they ended up there and why they entered the mine remains a mystery, with those questions still unanswered. Nate works at a cemetery in New York, a place meant for rest, or so he believed. While he was working, he started hearing something. It sounded like footsteps, but not ordinary ones. He described them as heavy, running back and forth.
And somewhere along these tree lines, it sounded like as if something heavy was like running back and forth. As if I turned around expecting to see a deer or something like that, and it was heavy, so it wasn't like a squirrel. Like, if I could hear the footsteps, to be able to hear the weight of the footsteps. But I don't see any deer, I don't see any bear. I don't see anything. I hear something, but I don't see anything. Moving over here. But no, I hear movement. I hear movement. But no, I hear movement.
He started looking for bears, deer, or any animals, but the forest was empty. The creepy part came later when his followers analyzed the audio, cleaned up the background noise, and discovered this.
I hear movement. But no, I hear movement.
It's a voice barely audible without headphones. But the story didn't stop at the cemetery. Nate says that ever since that day, the noises have followed him home. Now he hears bangs and footsteps in his hallways. Nate made the mistake of listening, and whatever was in that cemetery chose to follow him. And whatever you do, never answer if you hear your name in a place like that. A family took a photo of their living room during the holidays, with the Christmas tree standing near the windows, its lights glowing softly as the room radiated warmth. It was just a simple photo to capture a happy memory. But later, while reviewing the Christmas photos, the grandmother noticed something no one had seen at the time. Outside the window, in the backyard, a figure appeared. It looked tall and human-like, standing close to the glass. The shape seemed to be wearing what resembled a white robe. It didn't appear to be a reflection or a shadow, but as if someone was standing there. The grandmother became visibly shaken, believing the figure resembled her late husband in his younger years. He had passed away many years before the photo was taken. The image left the family deeply unsettled, unsure whether it was a real person outside their home, a trick of light, or something from the past quietly revealing itself that night. In the Mojave Desert near Baker, California, stands a mysterious iron structure welded together in the shape of an hourglass. The 8-foot-long structure has open ends and is bolted to 2 large boulders on a rocky slope. There are no records to indicate who built it or why it was placed there. An archived web page from 2002 confirms its presence by the mid-1980s, but the desert climate makes it difficult to determine its exact age. Without markings, tools, or any signs of use, the structure remains in its original location, unexplained. A night train in Mexico, traveling through a dark tunnel, and then a chilling scream. The train car was empty, yet something strange appeared in the window's reflection. For a brief moment, a dark humanoid figure appears sitting next to the man before vanishing. One evening, 2 women were hanging out with friends and decided to take a picture together using an old camera. When the photo was developed later, everything seemed fine at first. However, in the dark area behind them, something strange caught their attention. It appeared to be a face and part of an upper body emerging from the shadows. Neither of the women recalled anyone being behind them at the time, and the person who took the photo confirmed the area had been empty. Some suggested explanations like reflections, motion blur, or light distortion through glass, but the details in the face and the shape make these theories harder to accept. Whether it was a camera malfunction, an altered image, or something that shouldn't have been there, the photo has continued to disturb those who have seen it. A group of friends was camping in the Alcudra Desert during the Geminid meteor shower around 2:30 a.m. One person decided to climb a nearby dune alone to take photos in the near-total darkness, with only distant car lights visible to the right and the night sky overhead. From the top of the dune, the desert ahead was pitch black. When the phone's light flickered on, a dark figure appeared very close on the slope. The person, frightened, ran back down in a panic, even leaving their sandals behind. They searched the area later, but found nothing. 2 weeks later, while going through the photos from that night, one image showed a large, dark shape stretching down from the dune, where no one had been. Reddit user HappySoul6720 posted the image, and many users suggested it was just a shadow, but the poster insisted that the explanation didn't make sense. Meet Gaz, the explorer behind the YouTube channel Grizzly Gaz. On one solo camping trip, he ventured into a place steeped in folklore, rumored to be linked to wizards and UFOs. As he explored, Gaz shared local tales of ancient boulders, believed to be connected to Bride, a goddess of the Brigantian people. Another legend tells of a quarrelsome couple, Jack Stone and Nan Moore, who tried to destroy the stones. When they struck the Bride stone, a piercing scream echoed through the valley, sending them fleeing in terror.
I got a treat for you today. Now the place where we're going has got a lot of folklore tales attached to it, plus wizards and UFOs as well. Now it's recently been made famous by a film, and see if you can guess what film that is. But while I make my way to this location, I'm going to tell you about the folklore. This landscape belongs to primal powers. Humans are inconsequential interlopers who would be well advised to retreat before nightfall. Local folklore confirms this sense of land being strangely alive, a beautiful yet powerful sight of obvious veneration. first described in local deeds as early as 1491. There are a great number of weathered boulders round here, many like frozen rock giants, haunting the magical landscape. The modern law ascribes the stones to being dedicated to Bride, goddess of the Brigantian people, ancient Britons who in pre-Roman times controlled the largest section of what would become northern England. Although local history records are silent over the ritual nature of these outcrops, tradition and folklore tell them as a place of pagan worship, worshipping Bride, the Brigantian deity, and the primordial Celtic Great Mother herself. Other folklore tales tell of a couple named Jack Stone and Nan Moore, who were known as the guardians of the stones. They were married up here and lived within the rocky outcrops, but with constant bickering, Jack became fed up and marched down into the village to gather a mob to destroy the stones, which he blamed for his marriage failing. The villagers proceeded to smash the groomstone until eventually it fell, but as they took their weapons to the bride stone, a piercing scream was heard across the valley as the first piece of iron hit the stone.
As Gaz wandered through the area, he looked for key locations, including the infamous spot where a well-known film scene was filmed, joking about reenacting the scene.
So let's find where this notorious scene from this film was captured. I believe it's just over here. Now I believe on top of this rock is where the famous scene was filmed. You probably won't be able to tell from this angle, so let's get down and get a better look. Now just imagine a naked man up on top of these rocks, and a naked woman as well. Shall I go recreate it? Go up there and take all my clobber off? No one wants to. And this rock, well, these rocks here are part of the folklore. This is called the house stone, and as you can see, it looks similar to a house, and it looks like there could have been like floorboards in there, some joists maybe. Look, there's holes up there as well. And apparently this had a roof over the top, and this was where Nan Moore and what's his face?
After enjoying the panoramic views and identifying various formations, Gaz began searching for a good campsite, eventually choosing a sheltered spot among the rocks.
Right, I'm going to find somewhere to set up camp. I'm not going to set up just yet because it's a little bit early, and I think there might be some dog walkers and whatnot come about, so some doggers. Although I'm walking my dog. Yeah, it's quite boggy up here, so I need to try and find a spot where I'm not going to get bogged out. This will probably be alright here. Yeah, that'll do.
Gaz eventually found the bride stone, an upright formation shaped like a rugby ball on a cone, along with its shattered counterpart, the groom stone, further confirming the legend of the bride's resilience.
And there she is, look. And there she is. That upright like a rugby ball on a cone, that's the bride, and that apparently is the groom stone. So the groom stone got demolished, but the bride stayed strong. I love wandering around old boulder fields like this. Right, I'm going to find somewhere to chill out for a bit, might have something to eat, and then we'll get camp set up, ready for the UFOs and wizards and pagans coming to dance naked outside my tent.
As evening set in, Gaz settled down and remarked on how quiet the place was until a couple arrived and set up nearby. He jokingly hoped they wouldn't reenact the infamous movie scene. Feeling awkward with them positioned directly above him, like he was eavesdropping, he silently wished the wind would soon drive them away.
We're just going to comment on how quiet it is up here. And then a couple have just come and sat on rocks up there chatting away. Hope they don't recreate the infamous scene from the movie. Or did he guess what movie it was? Wuthering Heights. If you don't know what Wuthering Heights is, it's a novel by one of the Bronte sisters, Emily Bronte, I think. Can you see him up on top of rocks? I hope they bugger off soon because I feel like I'm eavesdropping. They're right above me where I'm sat. Hopefully the wind will...
After choosing a sheltered spot to pitch his tent, Gaz thought everyone had left. However, a passing person glanced at his tent, made a phone call, then walked away, leaving Gaz to wonder if he had been noticed.
You. I've just been up top and it's a bit windy up there, and there's still people coming and going all the time, so I think I'm going to pitch my tent up just down there. That way I'll be sheltered by these rocks, plus we'll be able to see a lovely sunset, won't we? Ooh, look at it. Lovely, isn't it? Right, I think we should be alright to set up shop now. I think everyone's gone home. Can't hear anyone anyway. Some guys just walked past, looked at me with my tent, and then picked up his phone out of his pocket, dialed something, did, chatted for a bit and then walked off. Wonder if he's grassed on me. Good job on my own.
As darkness fully settled, Gaz got into his tent but was soon interrupted by an unusual sound. The noise continued, briefly making him wonder if it was the distant rumble of a train.
What is that? Doesn't smell like it, please. Whatever it is. Sounds like wind chimes. Hear that? Look, look. It's probably a train in distance. People still out walking dogs and that. The hippies come and get me. Why is there still loads of people wandering about on moors? They just stood outside my tent talking. Mate, it's nearly 10:30 at night. Two women just wandering about upon the moors. Maybe they think I'm a god and that's why they've come up. I should be so lucky, shouldn't I? Right, I'm sure that I'll be back again at some point. I've just unzipped the tent to go see what them women were doing. And when I turned my torch on, they went, whoa! Didn't realise someone were there. It's like, they walked straight past me. They must have only been, I don't know, 10 feet away. That's what it sounded like. So my tent is still.
The most unsettling part of the night was the constant presence of people. Gaz was puzzled to hear strangers still wandering around late at night, even hearing voices right outside his tent around 10:30 p.m. At one point, 2 women walked past, only about 10 feet away, without noticing him. Things grew even stranger in the early hours. Around 3:40 a.m., Gaz began hearing distant screams. Unsure if it was a bird or an actual person, the eerie sounds kept him awake in the cold. With hours still left before sunrise, he decided it was time to leave, grabbing his dog and heading out. The late-night wanderers and mysterious screams remained unexplained, leaving Gaz to wonder what truly lingered in the ancient landscape.
20 to 4 in the morning. And I can hear that. Well, I've been hearing like screams. It's really weird. I don't know if it's some sort of bird or if it's actually someone screaming. It's far away, like. I'm too tired for this, man. Well, as long as it don't get closer, I'll be alright. Well, it's 4:15 now, and I can't get back to sleep. Look how cold it is. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, won't you? Thanks for watching. Werewolf time. Come on, we best get out of here, mate.
The wild can be beautiful, but it can also hold unsettling mysteries. Whether it was the land's primal powers, late-night wanderers, or something more sinister, Gaz trusted his instincts and left. Sometimes, the smartest adventure is knowing when to walk away, leaving the unanswered questions behind. Whatever he encountered that night remains unsolved. During a hike on one of Colorado's Fortiniers, a Reddit user took a photo, noticing nothing unusual at the time. However, later, while driving away, they spotted something strange in the photo. A peculiar shape appeared in the clouds on the right side of the mountain, resembling a face. The image was shared online, and most viewers dismissed it as a natural cloud formation. Some suggested it was an example of pareidolia, where the brain interprets random patterns as familiar shapes. It was likely just a coincidence. Reddit user lcoolj735 shared a post after noticing something strange in a photo taken at night during a snowfall. The user had snapped a picture of the snow and later noticed a small purple shape in the image. Upon zooming in, the object became more visible, and it almost looked as if someone in a cloak was standing there. The user posted the photo online, asking for suggestions. Some users proposed harmless explanations, like light reflecting off the snow or camera artifacts, but no one could definitively explain what was actually captured. After midnight in 2017, a family was driving down a remote desert road when a bright light appeared at the far end of the pavement. The light remained in the same spot as their car moved, forcing them to drive toward it for nearly 10 minutes. It neither got closer nor faded, making it difficult to judge how far away it was, and the road ahead felt unsafe. There was no sound and no visible source of light in the darkness. With no explanation for what they were seeing, the family slowed down and eventually pulled over, but the light stayed fixed in front of them. Could it have been another vehicle ahead? They didn't think so. It felt unnatural to them. A Reddit user visited his house while it was still being built and took some photos before heading back home. Later, while going through the pictures, he noticed something odd in one of the images. A human-shaped figure appeared to be standing in front of a window. He returned to the house and checked inside, but found no marks, dirt, or any sign that someone had been there. Commenters suggested possible explanations like condensation, frost, protective film, or light reflections from interior materials. Similar visual patterns were noticed on lower windows, but the man insisted there was no moisture inside. What do you think? a Reddit user stumbled upon a spiral notebook lying in the middle of a desert. Inside were college notes, but the last page caught their attention. It read, "If you see this, you mean a lot to me. You've been a huge part of my life and experiences in college. You've made most of my college years amazing and memorable. You are much appreciated and loved by me." Below that was a message listing passwords, electronics, and people to contact. Further down, there was a section written in a noticeably different style, detailing 3 people involved in an incident. Person 1, the mom of the child, provoking the incident. Person 2, confronting mom. Person 3, another member of Person 2's party. Many believed it was a farewell note and advised the finder to contact authorities, which they did. In a follow-up post, the Reddit user explained that police had taken the notebook as evidence. Later, one of the listed contacts confirmed that the notebook's owner was alive and safe. It turned out to be nothing serious, but the authorities were glad they were notified. What if it had been something more concerning? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with our latest videos.